Ain't nobody living out here. Be someone who's living out here. Fetch your life. Go and be alive. Ain't nobody living out here. Be someone who's living out here. Sounds from Sagi this morning. That's how we opened up the show. Fetch Your Life by Umsagi. And let it be known that we don't deserve Umsaki. Maybe we do because she's a good gift to the world. Umsaki is a dream, man. Every lyric, every sound, every vocal, every chord, everything that comes out of her mouth is just magic, pure magic. I was fortunate last night to go and watch Umsaki perform live at the Guild Theatre. It is the best experience of my entire life. I have never been that happy ever in my life. Like, I've been happy, I've experienced moments of happiness, but none comes close to that one. None comes close to that one. And with that said, I'll say good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens, makos na makoskazi, and to all my gender non-conforming people. Hey guys, welcome to your greatest young show on land. Yes, I said it. This is your greatest young show on land, right here on Keith Ngesi Radio with myself, Baby Sihu. And because Ecclesiastes says two are better than one, because when the other one fails, the other is there to pick them up. Today I'm not alone, man. I'm rolling with my show co-host, Asanda Magaga. What's going on?
Hey, good morning. It's still morning. Good morning. It's a very beautiful Saturday.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah, and
It is.
yeah, like you said, it's Asanda Magaga, the modern clever himself, back here again for another beautiful Saturday, man. I'd never choose to be anywhere else but here, honestly, every Saturday. But I don't know, this Saturday you're extra happy. What's going on?
Man, I am happy. I'm happy. I went to watch Umsaki perform live. And that is something. That is something. Like, I've been to a number of concerts. I love music. But those who know me know that I love Umsaki with all my heart. She is one of the few artists that I fell in love with organically. There was no peer pressure. There was no need for me to like her because, she was likable at the time. No, I liked her because her music spoke to me. I was in high school in the pits of trying to figure myself out and trying to define myself, and I remember my teacher said, hey, please give this artist a try, and I was like, who's this? Msaki? What do you mean? It's 2017, bruh. It is 2017. We're in the middle of listening to Big Nas, or Ski. We're listening to fire music. And you're out here trying to make me listen to an album called Zaneliza. What do you even mean? And it was the best thing she ever did for me. It got me through high school.
Wow.
I wrote an essay about one of her songs, Unali Temba.
Wow.
It was my subject header, and I expanded on it. I wrote about her quite a number of times. I even wrote to her. So having to finally meet her, and not just meet her, but have her meet me.
Hey,
like,
okay.
Saki met me yesterday. Like, I met her, but she also met me. So that was pretty much exciting, man. And it's just a reminder that as much as she's Umsagi, she's also human, and I saw the human side to her last night, and it was so beautiful to experience, because isn't she a great person? Like, isn't Umsagi a great person? Do you know those moments where you meet someone and yes, you weren't thinking they were a bad person, but it's so beautiful to actually find out that they were cool.
Yeah.
Like, I knew you were nice. You seem nice, but it's even better when I actually experience it myself. So that's how yesterday felt.
Yeah, well, I could tell, honestly. I could tell from seeing you yesterday and seeing you this morning. You know what? I'm sorry about this, but I honestly didn't know Umsaki until her song with Trezor, I think. Sunday. Like, yes, they had a very beautiful collaboration. And the reason why I think about that now is it's sort of based on what we're talking about today. We're also celebrating Africa Month. And it was such a beautiful collaboration of two different people from two different countries. But because they had the same gift, they came together and just did an amazing piece of work, man. And I love that song. I really love that song. And then I started listening to her after that. Amazing artist. She's an amazing artist and an amazing African too.
Do you know how beautiful that is when people are able to come together, not because of necessarily what would be deemed to be the most appropriate thing, but coming together for the sake of them being creatives, for the sake of them being from the same place, for the sake of them, like there's a lot of things that combine people, but when you combine simply because of love, man, that is something else. It when you're just like, I do not care if you are from Angola or if you're from Zimbabwe or if you're from Botswana or if you're from North, Africa.
Yeah.
But as long as we're here together in this moment and we come from the same land, we are of the same land, of the same ancestors.
Ooh,
we are one.
Yeah, and that's something that we don't really think about as people. I think we're filled with so much hate, man. It's so unnecessary. I remember, and this happens every year as well. You hear all the time that there's been a xenophobic attack somewhere, and it shouldn't be that way. First of all, it really shouldn't be that way. We need to live together as people. One thing I love the most. I love the fact that you get to learn from people about their cultures. You get to learn from people about just where they're from. Guys, I would love to speak Shona. I'm not going to lie. I would love to speak Shona.
Moro. That's how you say Molo.
Yeah, and do you realize how similar it is to isiXhosa actually? Because Tina Molo and then for them it's Moro.
Ishe Komborela. That is God bless Africa.
Wow. Oh, God bless Africa. So you realize that it's coming from one country, but they're not saying God bless our country alone. They're saying God bless Africa as a whole, because they do understand that we are one. We are Africans. And if we would be able to understand that, like all of us, Africa would be such an amazing place. I always hear people say Africa is not a jungle. But sometimes we behave like we're
from a jungle.
You understand? We behave like we're from a jungle.
In fact, animals behave better than us at times.
Very true, very true. And it's painful, man. I remember, I didn't go for my haircut this morning, but my barber, man, when those guys speak, I think they're from Mozambique. When they speak, I'm like, gents, can you teach me? I just love how everything just rolls off their tongue. It's amazing. My barber stays across the street from where I stay. So whenever I go there and they're eating, they ask me to join them. This one time, I agreed. They were having, I don't know, I've never tasted rice like that in my life. And I still want to know how I can make that. It was so good. It was so good. And everyone was eating together. It was a very wholesome experience, man,
Yeah.
And it was just different men. Omnia is a barber, I'm a customer, Omnia is selling something else.
Yeah.
But we get there and we're just like, okay, cool, now we're together. It was
this
such
is what
an
we're here for.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, in case you don't know what we're talking about today, we're just reflecting on the xenophobic attacks that have been ongoing in our country. There's a lot of those. You find that even amongst us as young people, we're so we have this level of discrimination towards people that are not from South Africa but are from Africa. We have these stereotypes that we don't even know where they come from, and they don't even make sense when you look at them. That the guy I go to school with, if he's from Nigeria, then his dad is probably selling cocaine, and he's probably not going to make it, or he has drugs at school, something like that, so we have all these stereotypes that make them feel uncomfortable. Or if you're dating a Zimbabwean person, then they're using medicine, okanye this and that. There's just a lot of things. And if you see a teacher from Zimbabwe, then if you go to a school which has a lot of teachers from Zimbabwe, then it's not, it's not Model C enough, then it's not white enough, then, then it's not good enough, because why do you have a teacher from Zimbabwe? So we have normalized and internalized a lot of hate. Unknowingly, and for some knowingly, and some act on those things and therefore end up having these physical attacks where you find foreigners because they're not from South Africa, they're not from here, but they're from Africa, you find them being attacked,
yeah,
being killed, their shops being burned because apparently they're here to steal our jobs. And there are so many factors at hand. Today we're choosing to focus on the part where we encourage everyone who's listening today to move away from those stereotypes, to move away from discriminating against our brothers and sisters. Right? Because when you look at it, whenever we discriminate people, and we're like, they're foreigners, it's always people that look like us, people of the same skin as ours, the people of our same, we share ancestors with. But we'll never say that to a white person. Right? You'll never find a black person from South Africa saying to umlungu, yo, you foreigner when.
It's never the way.
They're not from here.
Yeah. Instead, we celebrate them. When
we call them tourists.
Yeah.
Tourist day, I think in 2000.
We say tourist.
You see, man. So it's a war on people that look like us, and that's what we want to cut short today. Let's not, add fuel to the fire to the xenophobia that already exists in our country. And let's start embracing each other. That's what we're saying today. That's the conversation we're having today. And you mentioned something about appreciating people's languages. And I feel, as much though it's Xhosa Simnandi, I'll just use an example with us Xhosa people. As much as it's Xhosa Simnandi, right? We make jokes. Xhosa is the best language there is. Ezinye languages sound fishy and so and so on, which is kind of true because, hey man, Simnandi is Xhosa. But if we're being honest, such conversations and such conversations and the things that we say lead to xenophobia because because you deemed what is important to them a language, because language is important to who we are. When someone says, "Are you Xhosa?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Xhosa." I feel good about myself because I feel good about being Xhosa. But the minute we start saying, "Hey man, uthetha kakubi, I don't like your language," why do you speak like this? You're stripping away their love for their identity, because the language yabo is their identity, is attached to that. So when you diss it now, you're dissing them. And that's where it starts, because now you're taking away from the sense of pride that they were to be from where they are. Right? Now they hate where they come from, and they can't even belong to your country because they're not from your country. So they're in a place where they don't even know where they belong. Now you can imagine being from Zimbabwe, being in South Africa. It's hard because you're not at home. You already know that you're not necessarily at your own home ground, which is your country. Right? So you are missing home. You're supposed to feel welcome here, but you can't feel welcome because you are not... you are not made to feel safe in this country that you're visiting, or the country you are now. So you don't belong anywhere, which is sad.
It's really sad, man.
Right?
It really is.
So we need to be wary of those things. The conversations around language, those are very important. It's not funny.
It's not.
Like you laugh about it, but it becomes something serious. Because I need to learn isiXhosa.
And the pressure, it's not that now I need to learn isiXhosa because they want to
enjoy the language.
Yeah, it's not that anymore.
They can speak English. It's because I want to fit in.
Yeah, it's really
and it takes away from the beauty of it.
Exactly.
Because you want to fit in, and even when you try to fit in, chances are you'll never be as eloquent as Xhosa speakers are. So you always have that thing, and each time you speak aiba uli kwere kwere. So those are dangerous words. Those are dangerous conversations we have with ourselves. Do you get what I mean?
And unfortunately, we get to even hear little kids say that. So you see now, we're passing this down to other generations instead of us trying to educate them into changing that narrative and appreciating people from other countries. I will tell you about this guy who but apparently his name in his language means Gosinati on this side. I call him Autiao. I just call him out because my friend. No, I call him Autiam, and he likes that so much. Every time I go by there, I'll park the car and then I'll shout from the car, Autiam, sharp's it, and then he replies like, sharp Autiam wena, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I like this. And he's the kind of guy where if you go by there and you short, maybe short down a 5 rand or something like that, he'll tell you, no, it's fine, you can bring it back later. You understand? It's such a beautiful thing, man. And now you feel that, okay, I'm going to bring it back later because he is such an amazing person. He's such a young guy, and we have conversations a lot. Sometimes he talks to me, he's like, hey, man, I miss my family. You understand? And I'm just like, why not? Why can't I try and be his family here? He stays close to us. I usually tell him, like, Mamela, I'll tell him, if you see me parked by the garage, but obviously he can't because he can't close his shop. Working. But I tell him, I'll tell him, when you have time, come through, come join us, man, you know. And he, you know, I love coffee. He makes this amazing coffee. My gosh. He's coffee. And he's like, no, it's coffee from my country. I can teach you how to make it. I'm like, I'll tell him, I'd appreciate that. I love those kinds of interactions. Love them so much, man. You learn a lot. You know, you learn a lot about the person themselves. You learn a lot about where they're from. And it's even a beautiful thing to watch as well. You just watch other people. They're just connecting, even though they're from different countries, but they're connecting. My sister's best friend, Caroline, we've become family with her family. They met in grade 10. They're from Zim. We're family now. I'm friends with the brother Yakendala Ukal. And it's such an amazing experience, man. Oof, they cook this pap, batisat. They taught my mom how to make that. It is amazing.
Push better away.
It is hard. And honestly, then I turned papa before I met them. Yeah. And then I tasted the sides. I'm like, this one is the one. And it's always been the one for me. Love it so much, man. So you see that so much positivity can come from.
And you know what's crazy? Like, you don't even necessarily have to go as far as trying to make them feel as family. You don't have to overcompensate, because you don't even do that with some of the people that are from here, you know. Asizamilondo, what we're saying is be decent, be kind. Yeah. You know, if you don't have anything nice to say to people who are not from your country, and those people are not here to destroy your country, then keep quiet, keep it to yourself, because keep those thoughts to yourself if they're not good. Do you get what I mean? And if you know that you have hate towards them, look at the main source of why you hate those people. You hate them because they're taking your jobs. How are they taking your jobs? Because that is the conversation. How are they taking your jobs? Did they go to where you work and they were like, hey, I need to take so-and-so's job? Or did they look into the market and see a gap and create something for themselves? Exactly. Right? Because that's what happens most of the time. You like, I look at all the foreigners that are here who have jobs, and you look at their jobs, they're not in offices, they're not in big offices, or labor or kwasas. Yeah. Right? You go to the next person from South Africa and say, hey, yes, now jobs. They don't want to do that, because those are jobs that we don't appreciate, jobs that seem to be, you know, worthless or not as good enough. You know, so look at the source of your hate. Evaluate and ask yourself, why am I really hating this person? You know, why am I hating them? Is it me or is it them? And then work with that.
That's very powerful, man. I've never thought about it that way.
Work with that. You look at them, they don't have jobs in our offices. It's people from here. Man. They're in the street selling bags that most of the time our people don't want to buy, because they're probably fake or whatsoever. They're selling michayelo door to door.
Telling you
from here.
Never, you will never.
Because we're more privileged than them.
Yeah.
They look after our kids. They become helpers in homes.
Man. And now you remind me of, you spoke to me about Tuola. Do you know that guy's story? Ola used to be my barber back in 2008. He used to cut my hair. I think that's when he got to South Africa, or he got here before that. And what he did was he first cut at, there was a lady called Mama K, may her soul rest in peace. She passed away a long time ago. Ola used to cut hair at Mama K's salon. Then after that, he saved up enough money to open his own barber shop. After that, he brought in his sisters, and they started doing hair there. After that, they opened the Chisanyama. After the Chisanyama, he opened a club.
Now he has one of the biggest clubs in East London.
One of the biggest clubs in East London, man. And do you realize that this guy started with cutting hair? I think back then, he paid about 15 rand.
Or 10 rand
or
even.
10. You know, and he used to give me free haircuts sometimes. So you understand that this guy, he knew what he was coming here for. Consistency, man. Kanti thina kuzawuthi I'm an Asanda. Uhlele endlini, you're not doing anything. Go cut someone's hair.
Who am I?
Exactly.
You know. So instead of hating on you know, fellow brothers and sisters and mothers from, you know, our neighboring countries, from the same continent, we can learn a thing or two from them, because clearly there's so much to learn. And if we feel so angry at them that they're taking our jobs, can't we learn how they are taking our jobs so that we can take back the jobs that they're taking? Do you get what I mean? Can't we learn from them? Why must we always retaliate, or why must we always choose violence? What's with us in choosing violence?
And it looks like it's the only language we know now. It looks like all we know is just violence.
Yeah, so we need to unlearn that. We need to unlearn being people who attack others. Especially when others is not just any other. It's literally our own people. Because we come from the same ancestors, man. Africa is Africa.
Yeah.
We are in South Africa. It is Africa.
Exactly.
Just at the south of it. Okay, that was a play on words, but still. We are in the south of Africa, in Africa. There's no need for us to be hating on our brothers, right? If you have a problem, there's a better way to solve it other than violence, right?
Yeah.
There's a better way to talk through it.
Very true.
You know, outside of the violence and outside of, you know, war and choosing, you know, to kill and to burn shops. It's not the way to go.
I mean,
be kind, be decent about it.
As Africa already, man, we are not one of the most developed
Good
continents
afternoon,
ever.
Piwe. Sorry. Good afternoon, Piwe. Hi. You look so pretty. You look so fresh. By the way, I watched Umsaki last night, but we're not about that now. We're talking about being kind to fellow Africans as we close off African month.
And man, I think it's really, look, as Africa, Tina, we are not one of the most developed continents ever. You understand? And it doesn't make sense, man. If we would stand together as Africans, there's so much we could achieve, man. I mean, outside of personal interactions, even business-wise as well. Guys, there are skills that we do not have as South Africans that other foreign nationals have. We can learn that from them. They can teach us that.
We should learn.
We should. And because I saw him long, and he's like, I know it's not it. I want that one. Why is that? It's really, really crazy. Because now I keep thinking about it more, and I'm like, we are accommodating people who are from outside of Africa.
We not even that. We're accommodating colonizers, the same people that colonized us, you know, but we're not about that life. We're not talking about that now. But if we were using the same logic that xenophobic people use, then you'd be like, why are you not, you know, keeping the same energy with your colonizer?
Makes sense.
Than the person who was fighting for your freedom. We love this freedom. We are free now. We live in a democratic country. We fought for this freedom. You were not fighting alone. Where do you think our soldiers were going to when they were being chased out of South Africa?
You understand.
When we talk about exile, where was exile? There were exiles from South Africa. They sought refuge in other countries. Where do you think they were seeking refuge? In the UK, United Kingdom, don't lie here. New Zealand.
No.
What? They were in Zimbabwe, they were in Botswana, they were hiding in Zimbabwe, they were training in Zimbabwe, in Congo, they were getting help there. We look at the DRC and how it has helped a lot of medical students in South Africa.
Yeah.
Students leave here and go and study medicine in Congo because they're one of the best. A Congolese comes here and all of a sudden they're not good enough. Why are you dating that person? They're probably using a snake. You know, and these things happen. We can't run away from that. You know, there are Nigerian people who sell drugs. It's a fact.
There are South Africans who sell drugs
as well, right? We're not there. It's a fact. They're not. You know, it's no reason to kill anybody.
No,
like we always say, it's no reason to be attacking people and burning their shops. It is definitely no reason to be doing that.
That makes no sense for me, to be honest with you, because those same shops, they give jobs to our unemployed sisters, South African sisters and brothers. Those same shops, the shop owners, they are the ones who will give little tips nyana to the young guys who want to get into business. Because let me tell you something, those guys know business. Those guys know business. I was surprised when I learned that. I think it's Ethiopians. I'm not sure, but when they Somalians when they open shops, they have they have that.
Yeah.
But umgalelo wabo is to open shops. It's such an amazing thing where we're like, okay, cool. It's me, Obuhle, and like 5 other people. This month we're opening Asanda's shop. We come together and we open Asanda's shop. We sitiban simali. And then when Asanda's shop is successful, the next month, Sitiban Simali and open somebody else's shop. That is so amazing.
Yeah.
That's why you can find that they have about 5 shops in Quigley and they're all successful because nobody's fighting anybody. They're here with a common
They're
goal.
creating a value chain.
Exactly.
You know, if you can't get the style that you want, then I know a fellow sister who can do it there. And even if they can't do it, we'll find one who can do it.
Yeah.
You know? But with us, there's none of that. If I can't do it, then no one gets the business. You know,
You
no one
understand?
wins.
Man.
I'll do it and then I'll flop it. Because at least just because they don't want to give it to someone who can.
Exactly.
And that is problematic. That is problematic because not only is it spewing hate, but it's also not growing us back. You know,
True.
like when you spew hate, at least let it build, you know, give you something in return. Why are you, for example, I hate on people. I'll be out here clap backing on social media sometimes when someone says something nasty, right? And I'll clap back. You know, and someone will regard that as spewing hate. But there's a reason for that because I'm trying to show you can't be mean and get away with it
Makes
necessarily. You know, I won't necessarily be the bigger person. If you say something mean, then you're going to get what's coming for you. And no, we're not going to kill you or swear at you. We're going to tell you, stop doing it. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So imagine wasting your energy on hating someone, people.
Yeah.
And not getting anything in return. Your life is not made better by that. You're not
Not at
getting
all.
paid for that. You know, there's Slick Ton on TV. You know that guy who's on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
Him. You know, he throws shade. He gets paid for it. He makes money out of that. He got 100K because he talks.
Where can I get that?
You know, he was invited to fight with that other guy.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, I remember
He was
that.
invited to. Why? Simply because he trash talks on YouTube. He gets paid for
gets
it.
paid for
Why are you trash talking?
For you to burn somebody's shop and then after that
Imagine.
nothing happens. Yo, guys, it's crazy.
So we need to really grow up and get to a point where we start being kind to other people, and not necessarily because they're from Zimbabwe and we're saying they need extra sympathy or compassion from you.
Yeah,
But
no.
because it's the decent thing to do.
They're human, you understand? They're human at the end of the day, and treat them how you want to be treated. This thing is very simple, guys. And it doesn't necessarily have to be foreign nationals now. It's everybody.
Everybody.
Because it has even gotten to a point where even in South Africa, there are provinces where if ungumXhosa, you have to hide that. There are places where if ungumZulu or you have to hide that from other South Africans. So now I'm noticing that it's not a matter of disliking foreign nationals. I think it's just a matter of black people who just don't like each other. I think that's what's going on. Because I've heard people, I remember when I went to graduate in Durban, I was told by some people that, okay, listen, when you get there, speak English. You're going to have a problem. And I didn't understand. I'm like, but what do you mean?
Tribalism, that's another thing.
Yeah.
It's a serious thing.
Man, so, hey, we have a long way to go. We really have a long way to go. Because now we're fighting each other in South Africa, and then somebody from outside of South Africa is coming in. And these guys are contributing so much to our economy. We need to understand that. And not only our economy, but, guys, township economy. Those guys are contributing so much to township
Big
economy.
time.
And, we don't know that.
Big time.
Guys, no.
Big time.
We need to change so much, man. We really need to change so much. And you spoke about schools as well. I've realized that some of the best teachers ever are Zimbabweans.
Man, my life orientation teacher and natural sciences teacher, and at some point my base class teacher was Mr. Magaga. Mr. Magaga is one of the best teachers I've had. I remember how I looked forward to life orientation, not because it was, all about sex or anything, but I remember that whenever I walked into Mr. Magaga's classroom, I walked out with something valuable, not just for my academics, but for my life. I look at some of the things that he taught me then about life, about work ethic, about discipline, and how you should be as a person, about character. They are available. I mean, they are valuable to me now.
Wow.
Years after high school. Okay, not many years after high school, because I'm still a baby.
Oh,
but,
okay, baby.
I see what you did there. One of my best teachers out there is Mr. Magaga. Do you get what I mean? So
every time you say Mr. Magaga, I think you're gonna say Mr. Magaga. I'm like, okay, it doesn't mean. But there is something about the Maga. You know Maga.
Yeah, Mr. Magaga. Like, his work ethic is something else. He was teaching us while also studying psychology, like full-time psychology, and that is a lot of work.
It is.
But he passed all his modules, and I remember how he finished. It teaches that they have to do for your syllabus. He finished everything on record time. He was always on time. Like Mr. Magaga was always early. Mr. Magaga had his work organized and in order, and even when he didn't, you wouldn't know, because he was always one step ahead and always trying to make sure that he's got his best foot on the ground. That was Mr. Magaga. His character. Mr. Magaga was a man of discipline. If he said he was going to do something today, then best believe that it's going to happen today. That is Mr. Magaga. Mr. Magaga sticks to his word. His work ethic, something else. His teaching style, something else. And I learned from him so much. And at the time, I was not even aware. It's things that are valuable now, man. It's wild. Also, don't you think that it's a thing with teachers? Teachers are wild, man. Teachers are really dope.
They are.
And most of the time, you realize after high school that, oh my God.
Exactly. I remember my life sciences teacher.
Wait, I'm really sorry.
Okay.
Hi, Asanda and Msaki's bestie. Who is Msaki's bestie? I am Saki's bestie. Talk to me nice. Thank you for the respect. Thank you. I need people to talk to me nice. I'm going to put that in my bio, in my CV.
Msaki's best friend.
I am Saki's best friend. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice, Asanda.
Guys, I wish Msaki would see this.
I'm gonna call her after this. What do you mean?
Oh, wait, what?
We're having coffee after this, Asanda. Thank you for that. Yes, I am Saki's best friend.
Guys, can you not hype her up, please?
Life of her life.
I'm asking nicely in the comments. Please don't hype Obuhle up anymore. We're done now.
I'm Saki's love of her life, man.
Wow, I wish I was there.
They must respect me. Give me credit, please.
Wow.
Give me credit, please.
Who took you to go see Msaki?
You see, like.
Oh yeah, that hand. By the way, I am not allowed to touch that hand anymore.
Msaki touched my hand, guys. Msaki touched my hand.
I can't believe this.
I'm not gonna let you rest, guys. I'm not gonna let you rest.
Who took you there yesterday? Because whoever did, Shem, I will find them and
there is life, right? The one that everyone is living, and then there is my life. Haike, ordained and anointed by Msaki.
Sorry, ma'am. Can I do my show where I'm speaking about xenophobia? You have your own show where you speak about Msaki.
But that's the thing. If people listened to Msaki,
okay,
then they would understand.
Yeah.
That there's absolutely no need to be xenophobic. Why are you xenophobic? Listen to Msaki. She talks about this in her music.
Wow.
We will never hear the end of this.
Sure.
What is that, guys? What end? There's no end to this. What end?
Can we put a disclaimer somewhere?
It hasn't even begun. What do you mean?
Sure.
What do you mean? Aska chat Msaki. Okay, well, she is married, and yeah, that was a wild joke. But still, we won't. Respect me, please. But yeah, if you listen to Msaki's music, you'll find that there's no room for hate.
Yeah.
There's no room for hate in the music. There's a song, she performed it yesterday, and it's the song that, hey man, couldn't keep still. Like I could not, but we're not there. It's Blood, Guns and Revolutions, and in the song she mentions just how, in our DNA, not necessarily DNA, but in our core, there's so much hate that's been planted in us. So you get to a point where we are in the same room, we are all here from the same place, but there's this hate. You don't even know where it's coming from, but it's there.
So you listening to her music, there's so much to learn from it.
There's so much to learn. It's so much more than just a nice beat. There's so much more than just nice vocals, because, man, she has vocals for days. When she sings, don't get me started. But it's so much more than the vocals and the, beautiful production, the lyrics. There's message in there that we can all learn to listen to, and it will grow us.
Also speaking about music, we need to also, I think there's so much to learn from music by artists from other countries. We love them, yes, but do we listen to their music? There's a song by Burna Boy, Pre-Me. I love that song so much because he speaks about himself. He speaks about where he comes from. You get to understand his struggles as a fellow African. That's another thing that we don't understand. We do not want to learn about other Africans. We do not want, and you find that we actually relate to the same problems. We have the same struggles. If we would come together and address those things, we would come up with so many solutions for our struggles, because our struggles are the same as Africans. They're really the same. So we need the same solution.
And you know what? It's not a thing where you should, overcompensate and try to, learn about their struggles. What we're saying is there's no need for you to hate on struggles that you don't understand. Like if you don't understand it, it's okay. You can stay out of it, not in an ignorant way, but in a way that doesn't center yourself. Like, don't center yourself in their struggles, especially when you don't understand them.
Makes sense.
You get what I mean? You're not forced to like their music and listen to their music if it does not appeal to you. What we're saying is don't diss the music simply because it's a song by Davido, who is from, North Africa, or, a foreigner, as you would say.
Makes sense.
Don't diss the music because it's by them. Stay out of it because you don't like it. It does not appeal to you. Don't listen to it. We won't force you. You're not being forced, right? But don't diss it now. Don't start to hate it. That's what we're saying.
It goes back to what you said, that if you don't have something positive to say, don't say anything. It's okay.
Like, it doesn't take a lot to be a kind and a decent person. If you have nothing to say, keep your mouth shut, because Ubana, you are very much rude and you have nothing nice to say, so it's fine. We don't want to hear it. No one wants to hear it, and learn, because that's another thing. People don't share their opinions out loud because they know they're hateful.
Oh.
But it still doesn't change the fact that they still hold
hateful.
Those opinions. That is dangerous too. So as much as we'd say, hey, please keep it to yourself, when you voice it out, then you can be corrected, then you can be taught, and there's a higher chance of you unlearning whatever it is that you the sentiments that you hold. Now someone can say, hey man, I heard you say that and this and I don't think it's the correct narrative to hold. So how about you unlearn that, or how about you move away from that? Whereas when you keep it in, then you are harboring.
That's true. That's true. And I mean, we also need to learn how to learn as people. Like, people.
Okay, that is wild. You need to learn how to learn.
Learn how to learn.
Hey.
No, listen. This is what I mean. I told you, this thing.
Hey, English.
I know. My English. I was taught by Memrod. She was the best. Metric. My book was there submitted, but I was bottom. But it's fine because they took number 1 and number last. I was number last, but my book went there.
Okay. We get what you mean.
We must learn how to learn, or we must allow ourselves to be teachable and to be teachable.
Yes, allow yourself to be teachable.
That's the thing. Because our egos are too much. We get to be very arrogant sometimes. And I think, the whole thing that we were talking about when it comes to South Africans, I think another problem, Gati, is we feel very entitled. That's the difference between us and foreign nationals. Well, not all of us, but some of us. We feel very entitled. But the government is not doing enough. Yeah, but what are you doing? You understand? Foreign nationals will get here. They're not expecting the government to do anything for them, but they still do amazing things. You understand? They have things to complain about, yes, but they still tell themselves, I'm not gonna complain. But us, bro, we complain.
And the comparison, once again, guys, the comparison is not to necessarily draw hate again, because whenever there's comparison, people start being defensive and like, we're not like them. The aim is not to make you like anybody. The aim is to share love instead, to spread love instead, and encourage people to stop the hate against foreign nationals, the attacks and the xenophobic, especially not just attacks, because it's xenophobic attacks, right? We need to be very direct when we have these conversations, because when we're not, then abantu bathi it was just, bafumana into zozithethelela. Kanti when we have these conversations and we become direct and straightforward in our points, then we're able to kuthiwa uya apho kufela ithole sibetha kanye kanye kule nto ufuna sithethe ngayo.
How do you even know that?
So it's all about love, man, and being a decent person. That's all it needs. Because when you look at xenophobic attacks, as much as they are driven by xenophobia, right? But you also see, Ubana, people are so unkind. People lack compassion out there. Because I look at xenophobic attacks and I'm just like, how are you that cruel? How are you that unkind? I get that you hate that person, but what does that mean? Like, what does that say about you, Kengoku? What does it say about you? Because you're hating them. Why? You don't even know why you're hating them. So it speaks a lot to the unkind nature of our people. And that is sad, because it doesn't just reflect to foreign nationals, but also Nakuti.
Yes.
Because we're very hating on each other.
Very much.
It's just that maybe not. Okay, yet we're not burning each other yet, and burning each other's. In fact, we did during looting. We did.
Yeah,
we did. We did during looting. So it's a serious problem. It's a serious problem. But I don't want to focus on us so that we move away from the xenophobic attacks, because that's the main point of the conversation. It's to say no to xenophobic attacks. We're
and just
not
xenophobia as well, because sometimes it's not necessarily physical attacks.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
It's the things that we say.
The words cut deep, man.
That
K word that you spoke about, I hate that word so much. And it pains me to see a little kid say that. And I'm like, boy, do you even understand where? Bruh.
All of those words.
And man, because now I keep thinking about the same teacher, Mr. Asanda. Mr. Asanda taught me from grade 4 until matric. In matric, he taught me life sciences. Bruh, I passed life sciences without having to study. I know this is about me now. I'm smart. I didn't study.
Don't brag.
What do you mean?
Don't do that.
Ma'am, you just had 5 minutes speaking about Umsaki, best friend. Give me my time now.
Okay.
But I didn't study life science. But it was because he was that good. And the fact that every school I went to from grade 4, he'd be there. For me, I was just like, there's something special about him. There was also, now I'm just sharing moments that I've had that were amazing with foreign nationals. I had Mr. Onwana, we still speak till this day. He had such a huge contribution on me getting into business. Because he used to tell me all the time that, man, when there's something about you, come visit my store. He had a store where he sells clothes. This guy's a teacher, but on the side he sells clothes because he knows he's here for money. He used to say, come to the store. My matric dance, I didn't go, but he was like, when you're going to your matric dance, you'll get a suit from my store. Come get it. When I got my first radio interview, he was the first person to call me. And like I told you, I've always told you it's going to happen. I've always seen something special in you. He was a parent, man. He was such a father figure. I remember I was coming from radio.
Yeah.
Driving back home, I saw him. Then I pick him up. He was so happy that I'm the one driving him somewhere.
Yeah.
He was so appreciative of that. And I'm just like, if only you knew, sir, that your work got me here. You understand that for him, it wasn't even about ukpatalwa anymore. For him, it was about touching a young man's life. It was about making impact. I think he has his own school now. So you understand that now. He knew that as a teacher, I can touch lives. But if I can have my own school, I can now touch so many lives.
Exactly.
The kind of impact that I can have. You understand? That's somebody opening a school for African children.
And like I said, it's very important to respect people for who they are, man. Respect people and see them for who they are, not who we want them to be or how we perceive them and all of those things. It's important to be kind to everyone, not because it's it's something that's expected of us, but because it's the right thing to do, man. Like being kind is the right thing to do. Being a decent person is the right thing to do. If we were kind people, if we were decent people, there wouldn't be any xenophobic attacks. There wouldn't be any xenophobia. But because we're not so unkind, we lack compassion. We lack, all of respect. There's so much that is lacking. We lack these things. Those are things that we should work on because there won't be xenophobia if you're a kind person, because if you have a room for kindness in your heart, you won't be out here, spewing hate.
Definitely.
Even if you have a problem with a foreign national, you won't spew hate because you are this person of kindness. When there's a problem, you go back to kindness. The drawing board of kindness, and you're like, oh, okay, so I have a problem with this person. I feel like this person is taking my job. How can I have this conversation? Okay, hey, government, how about we have a conversation about the problem that we as a community, if it's a community, that we have with these foreign nationals, and find how we can, meet to each other, or how we can learn, what our part is in the problem or what their part is, so that we can live better together, instead of saying, oh, okay, I have a problem with the foreign national, let me burn their shop. That's not how you go on about it. You have a problem, we talk it out. You have a problem, I learn about how I can find a solution, or I learn how to navigate it in a better way that does not involve inciting violence. Do you get what I mean? So kindness, operate from kindness. I tell you, kuzobapetele.
Even just kind words go a long way.
All of that, because kindness is so much more than just, hey, hi, Asanda, Kindness is love, man. Like, kindness is soft. I think of kindness and I feel like it's so much more than what we think it is.
Yeah.
It's not just, you're so kind because you complimented umdu. Like, it's so much. It's a way of life. It's how you live. It's how you talk to people. It's how you see the world. It's how you engage with other people. So now, if you don't, in fact, it's even hard to not like something because you operate from a place of love. You operate from a place of respect of another person, not because they're not from your country or they're from your country, but because you're that person, a person who has love to give.
That makes me think about something now. You ever been kind to somebody and then you just see the look in their eyes where they just appreciate the fact that you are such a kind person? Sometimes you can change somebody's life just by being kind to them. That's one thing we need to realize, man. And to be honest, we are going through so much as people. The last thing you want is to step out and meet people who just make things worse. We're really going through so much. So now imagine having to leave your country because the conditions there, they're not good for you and your family. You go look for better opportunities in another country. You get there, and then they just make sure that nothing goes. You're not received with love. You're
received with hate.
Yeah.
In fact, you're afraid to walk in the street because loco. Or you're afraid to make friends because you might not be received.
That's the thing, man.
And they might not hold space for you. And I hate how we've normalized being unkind, that when someone is being kind, it's such a huge thing. Like, oh my God, you're so kind, guys.
Yeah.
It's the decent thing to do.
Yeah.
This is how things should be. Like, what do you mean I'm kind for just treating you with respect? That is the normal thing to do.
As a human being,
now you're being rewarded for flying and you're a bird. Why? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, and I need to understand. You know me. I'm a person who likes to find the root of the problem.
I learned.
Where is it coming from? That's the thing. Because I believe that if you know where the problem is coming from, then it's easier for you to eliminate the problem. Because if you cut off the roots, it won't grow anymore. So I'm trying to understand. Okay, you see now, for the following generations, they got it from us. So if we are teaching...
Who is us? You speak like you're 50 years old, sir.
Age is just enough. Me, I'm old. I'm old.
You speak like you're 50 years old.
I'm an old soul.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, we are teaching the younger generation all the wrong and the right things. You understand? So for them, finding a root of the problem for them, we are the root. But now for us, where does all this hate come from? You find other people that they hate on people. What they do does not affect them at all. It's just that I heard Utata and his friends talking about that shop owner, and they had all the bad things to say about that shop owner. So now I hate him as well. And then after that, I go influence my friends to hate him. And then the next thing, we burnt his shop. So now you're busy saying you're fighting a war that you know nothing about, a war that shouldn't even exist anyway. So I really think it's important for us to try and find the root of the problem, so we can educate the root of the problem that, listen, times have changed. There are different ways to address different situations.
Okuhle Kolati is saying it's a boring conversation, and you are right, Obuhle. It boils down to hateful and ignorant people. Xenophobia, that is. True.
Very true, man. There's a lot that we got to do. Honestly, I don't know where we can start, and I would appreciate to find where we can start with solving this kind of problem, because we do have conversations about these things all the time, and they happen every year.
And I think when, people look for solutions and they look for root causes, they like looking further. It's like you want to discover this huge thing that you can do, maybe wave a magic wand, and then boom, all your problems are solved. And it starts with the individual again, because when they say a community of hateful people or a bunch of xenophobic attackers and all of those things, it's people, people that come together and go and attack foreign nationals. It starts with one person, and then they have a conversation with another person, and they realize, actually, stibene ngento enye apha, stibene ngale ngqondo ingabhadlanga. Kufunyanwa kwesithathu nowesithathu, same thing. So now it's 4, it's 5, it's 6, becomes a community. Right? So if you as an individual, when you unlearn all the hate that you've harbored against the foreign nationals, and the next person does the same thing,
self-introspection,
and in the conversations that we're having right now, and the questions that we're asking ourselves, and if we don't have answers to those questions, it's okay. With more conversations, we'll find answers at some point, and I think, we've reached the end of our conversation, man. Or we'll speak forever, because there's always a question, right? And we love that there are questions. We appreciate that. And if we can't answer those questions, then it's up to us, again, to take this conversation beyond just this moment and say, okay, sipele up, now we need to find the root cause, because we're not satisfied with the ones that we have, and we've seen that they don't make any sense. So now let's move forward to a point where we can find solutions to the questions that we have, resolves to the questions that we have, and that's when the conversation is going to get better, and we're going to be able to action out change, and we're going to be able to action out all that we spoke about now. So what is important is to keep having these conversations. Teach your brother, teach your friend, and when you can see your brother is xenophobic, then you're just like, call them to the side, call them out. I don't like what you did. I don't like what you said. And teach them, you know. You don't need to overcompensate. You don't need to have a friend from Zimbabwe to prove that you're xenophobic.
Yeah,
no, I'm not racist. I have black friends. No, we're not talking about that now. Just unlearn, man, and be a kind person. Focus on yourself, on working on yourself, and unlearning the things that you have, the stereotypes and, you know, the discrimination that you have acquired. Hey, English, yeah. But yeah, work on that yourself, and once you've done the work on yourself, you can go out and teach. And teaching is not necessarily hard work. Ufumani posters. If you do have a chance to do that, please do. But it's not this big campaign work. It's a conversation that we have at home with abazali bethu. Sisiye shop siyotenga go my friend, inverted commas there. Those are the conversations that we can have with ourselves in the moments kungekho bantu, when baby is not on radio telling you to be a kind person. Practice kindness, you know, when Asanda is not there to say, hey, learn from foreign nationals, you know, do that work for yourself and on yourself, and then go as far as teaching your friends, your family, and everyone else.
Man, I love that.
It's a beautiful conversations we were having here. There are highlights of the conversations. We'll keep posting them on our social media pages. With that said, please follow Keith Ngesi Radio on Facebook. It is Keith Ngesi Radio. And if you're watching on Facebook and on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Much appreciated. Please do share the broadcast for those who are not listening and from someone who can gain knowledge from this conversation, right? So please share. Thank you so much. Where can they catch you again?
Asanda Magaga in all my platforms, social media platforms. And yeah, man, and you know, can people reach out to me? And because I do believe that some people can learn from the conversations that we're having right now, and they still want to learn some more from a person straight. I'm a very open person. Send me a DM and, you know, just say, you spoke about something last week and please clear something up for me, or I'd love to engage more with you on that. Yeah, I would, man. You know.
I love that. Thank you, Asanda, for availing yourself to have these conversations. You can follow me on Instagram. I am Baby Sihu at Baby Sihu, baby C as in like eyes, who sees, I saw, but it's C, and then who as in like who are you. So it's Baby Sihu on Instagram, Baby Sihu on TikTok, Baby Sihu on Twitter, and Obuhle Sihu on Facebook. Please do follow me. Make sure to follow our sister pages on Facebook. It is Keith Ngesi Radio Academy, Keith Ngesi Digital TV, and Keith Ngesi Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is Keith Ngesi Radio. Like, comment, and share. So excited to bring you our revamped show next week, June. It's revamped. Second. We're ending the first half of the year with a bang. I'm so excited. Young Purpose has been under construction, but next week, as of next week, man, we are bringing to you a new jam-packed show, revamped, new segments, new everything. I'm so excited about that. You guys are gonna enjoy it. You guys are gonna enjoy it. Radio is about to be great again. Youth radio is about to be great again. So thank you so much, man, for tuning in. And like that, we're out.
Thank you very much.
Next time.
Enjoy.